Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at a figure that I have a love-hate relationship with, and one that I have been putting off reviewing for a very long time, which has delayed my reviewing of the rest of this line in general. We are finally going to take a look at the Club Grayskull Masters of the Universe Classics Filmation style EVIL-LYN. All right, and quick look at packaging. So this is the same standard package that you see for the entire line. I've gone through this with Clawful, but we'll take a quick look here as well. So we've got the jaw bridge for Castle Grayskull. We've got the eye holes and the nose for like a top-down window look. And then there are windows on the side this time, which was a change from some of the earlier packaging. And the figure's obviously already out, but we've got the window showing the figure. We've got her extra head. We have got the He-Man logo with the character name, and then on the back we've got a Filmation style drawing of EVIL-LYN with Snake Mountain in the background, and just a write-up of the show itself and what kind of brought this figure out. It's not a bio for the character or anything. So let's take a look at the figure itself now. All right, everyone, here she is. I guess I'm going to say right off the bat that I don't think I'm okay with this figure. After having her for a while and trying to kind of, get around all of her faults, overall, I really don't think that I can say that I like this figure. There are way too many problems with it. She does have that classic Filmation style look about her, and I think they capture it relatively well, but there's too many weird oddities about this figure, not to mention some very sloppy paint applications that really stop me from being 100% okay with her. Not even 75% okay with her. She's got some issues. So first things first, I'm going to talk about the accessories that I've got her holding, because one of them is a problem. The first of which, we're going to talk about the cordite crystal. This is from, what's the episode called? EVIL-LYN's Plot, I think. And this is actually a really solid accessory. It's got finger holes so she can grip it, and then, because she's kind of got a spell casting hand, but this also doubles as a gripping hand for this particular accessory. It's got these, kind of translucent pink crystals. The rock formation looks really good, and overall it's nice, and she can hold it just fine. It comes off very easily, but she also holds it really well. So I'm very pleased with this. It's a really cool accessory. I like it. The other one is her wand, and this is a big problem because for one, it's the shorter version, but two, the color on it is wrong. This thing was never black. She also doesn't hold it very well. This thing was never black. What was it? Yellow, I think. It certainly wasn't black. It was never black, and I'm pretty sure it was clear or translucent to a degree as well. So this is just a miss. I don't understand it. I don't get why they did that. And ultimately, it's a hindrance to the figure. Now, the figure itself, where do we start? So we're going to go with articulation first, because that's the easy stuff. Head goes all the way around, up and down, so it's got good range of motion. Her arms can go out, up and down, and all around. She does have a bicep swivel, and she has a single jointed elbow. We've got rotation and a hinge at the wrist, and then she has a... it's not, I guess that's her waist. That's really, seems kind of high, but also kind of low. So we'll say waist swivel. There is no crunch on this figure. Her legs can go all the way out. You can get her to do the splits. And then they go forward, but they're going to be hindered by the underwear. I don't know what you want to call it. And they don't go back very far. There is a bit of a swivel there, but you're still going to be hindered by the fact that the joint is seated inside here. And then we've got a single jointed knee. We've got boot swivel. And we have a hinge and a rocker at the ankle. So standard for Masters of the Universe Classics, nothing too crazy. The cape is not removable, so it will hinder her articulation and her movement to a degree. This is fully sculpted onto the chest piece. As far as the sculpt goes, it's okay, I think. It's okay. The face sculpt isn't half bad, but it's not perfect. I feel like her face is... maybe on her face, but her whole head is kind of shallow. It looks kind of oddly proportioned. The rest of the figure is okay. The headpiece is all right, but it's flimsy material. And then the overall sculpt on the chest piece is nice. And the little details that they've added for the armbands and the gauntlets. And I really like her spellcasting hand and her gripping hand for the cordite crystal. I think this is a cool thing to have. I like the hand itself because it can be used for multiple things. You don't have to always have her holding that crystal. It can obviously double as, a spell casting hand or something like that. So that's cool. But overall, I think she's kind of plain, and I know that's what they go for with this line, but she still looks off a bit. And I think part of that is going to come down to the paint. So the paint is the huge problem with this figure. It's very sloppy, and this is probably a better looking example. I had a couple of these, and I sold a few off because I realized once I got her that I did not need multiples. And this is the best looking one I had. A lot of the other ones had really sloppy paint around the purple and the blue, and I'm not saying this one doesn't, because everything bleeds everywhere. The paint job is pretty much abysmal on this figure in general, but the face is where it really suffers. So there's a lot of bleed from the mask to the face. The eyebrows are off. This one, I guess her right, the left on the camera, is not centered on the sculpt of the figure. My eyes are straight, which is good. That's a plus. But the other problem, though, is that the skin tone on the head is not the same as the rest of the body. It's slightly yellow. And that obviously is an issue. She's not jaundiced or anything, so she should be the same color. It may not pick up very well in the lighting here, but it's definitely a different color. And then the headpiece is by far the worst example of the bleeding, because I know you can see this. There is purple all over this particular blue spike, this one as well, and then on the right side of this one there is. So it's just everywhere. Everything is very sloppy. Everything seems really rushed here, which is odd because the next figure in the line was Clawful, and he was generally okay, save for some problems with his teeth. But otherwise, I didn't have any issues with that figure, yet this one came out so just crappy. I don't know. Everything's really awful about her. She still displays relatively okay, but at the end of the day, it's not that great. And the overall head sculpt, while it's not half bad, it's not exactly that great either. It's by far the worst one of the bunch, and the overall paint mishaps all over this figure really don't help to sell the quality that this line can have at times. She does come with one other accessory, though, so let's take a look at that. So the other accessory that she comes with is a separate head, and I think this one is slightly better, but I don't display her with this one. So in the Filmation cartoon, she did on occasion, they were pretty rare, have her headpiece off, and she has kind of a buzzed head of white hair, which was kind of odd to me at the time. Still kind of odd. The face sculpt is similar to the other head. It's not entirely too different. I think she looks a little more happy in the white hair and without helmet. But overall, the face is very, very similar. The hair is just, painted white. There is bleed all over around the forehead, and the skin tone is still slightly yellow. She's got a little more blush on her cheeks, I think, as well. I think it's better in terms of overall production quality. I think they had less to mess up on the non-helmeted head, but it's still not a great head. It's relatively boring. I'm never going to display her this way, and it still suffers from paint problems just like the other one does. So overall, I think it's pretty obvious. I don't really care for this figure. I think it's obviously the weakest in the line, and it could have been so much more. I think that's where the problem comes in for a lot of people, is that this could have been a much better figure. EVIL-LYN is a very pivotal figure. She is very important to the line, and for her to get kind of just a crappy treatment for whatever the reason may be is just unfortunate. I do like her accessory in the Coroidite crystal. I like the fact that they gave us the extra head, but at the end of the day, I don't need it, and I'm never going to display it. The wand, the scepter, is a mess, and just the paint mishaps and the weird skin tone problems are a problem. I don't really know why I waited so long to talk about this figure. I think I already knew how I felt, and I was just hoping I would warm up to her after a while, and I didn't. She's still going to display relatively okay along the rest of them, but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody was happy with this figure, and I think it's understandable. So that is going to do it for this review. As always, stay tuned for more. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, that whole YouTube deal. And until next time, everyone.